Adjunct Professor Moran, Microeconomics 112. We're going to introduce the concepts of total cost, average cost, marginal cost. Total cost is the summation of fixed and variable cost. Fixed costs are costs that don't vary with changes in output. They can't be changed in the short run. They're required to be paid even if the plant doesn't produce anything. Zero input, and you still have to pay these costs. It's the cost of the plant, for example, equipment and interest on debt or rent. Variable costs do change when output changes. To produce more output, more variable costs are used, more variable inputs are used, and so variable cost goes up. Less output, less variable input, variable costs go down. First, variable costs increase at a smaller amount per unit of output because of the principle of diminishing marginal returns. As you experience increasing marginal returns, you add an additional worker, and he's contributing more, and the next worker contributes more, then your variable cost per unit is being spread over more output, so the variable cost is going down. Then variable cost increases by an increased amount. That's as you experience diminishing marginal returns. Examples of variable costs are labor, fuel, and raw materials. Total cost equals fixed cost plus variable costs. Average costs are per unit production costs. So you can take a total cost and divide it by the quantity of input, a fixed cost divided by the quantity of input, and a variable cost and divide it by the quantity of input, and you'll get an average cost. And the good thing about average costs is they can be compared directly to product price, because product price is almost always on a per unit basis. So your average costs can be compared directly. Average fixed cost equals total fixed cost divided by quantity of quantity. Average variable cost equals total variable cost divided by quantity. Now, interestingly, fixed cost is constant in total. If it's $1,000 at no output, it'll be $1,000 at 100 output. But if you divide that on a per unit basis, fixed cost varies. As you have more and more output, the increasing amount of output the fixed cost is being spread among more and more output as your output goes up. So on a per unit basis, fixed cost falls with increases in output. Variable cost, though, increases with increases in output, but it's constant on a per unit basis. One worker is $10 an hour, the second is $10 work an hour. So variable cost is constant on a per unit basis of input, but increases with the amount of output. Average total cost is total cost divided by quantity. You can also find it by taking total fixed cost divided by quantity plus total variable cost divided by quantity, which is also equal to average fixed cost plus average variable cost. Marginal cost is the additional cost of producing one more unit of output. So marginal cost equals the change in total cost divided by the change in cost. In average, all the data comes from one line. On a marginal, the data will come from two different lines, two different amounts of output. Note that marginal cost from 0 to 1 is not the initial cost, it is initial variable cost. Marginal cost is useful for cost control. In other words, you don't want to look at total cost. If you can sell something, for example, for $5 and the marginal cost is $4, then you'd want to go ahead and make it, even if you were going to lose money. At least you'd be making $1 on that unit. But if the marginal cost of something is $6 and you're selling it for $5, then you'd just be digging yourself in a deeper hole. And we're going to apply that rule in the next chapter. So now we're going to practice calculating total and average costs in the next video.